Who was Otzi? He is a mummy that was found in 1991, relatively recently, in the Alps. When they found him, a couple of mountaineers who were walking in that area thought he was a modern climber who had had an accident. But when the ice melted, it turned out he was a traveler from another time. Thank you. A man who lived about 5,300 years ago, around 3,255 before Christ. And he was at an altitude of 3,200 meters, trapped in a silence of 5 millennia, and they called him Otzi. He wore a cloak made of plant fiber, a bearskin hat, a vest and leggings made of goat skin, a leather loincloth and shoes sewn from leather, waterproof for the snow. He also carried a pure copper axe, a flint knife, a quiver full of arrows, and a bow, which was bigger than him and had the particularity that it wasn't finished yet. What truly shocked the scientific community wasn't his axe or clothes, but the first aid kit hanging from his belt. It was a natural first aid kit, created with biological intelligence that we'd now call first aid. Otzi was not only a warrior, but he was a wise man, a man who knew how to heal himself in such a hostile environment. To understand this first aid kit, we need to understand this man. Let me share a story. Close your eyes and imagine. 5,300 years ago, a 45-year-old man, a wise man for his time, who lived in a village, walked through the highest peaks of the Alps. Don't see him as primitive. Otzi wore a perfect outfit made of skin and wore shoes stuffed with straw and hand-stitched with leather to insulate himself from the snow and walk through it. In his hand a copper axe gleamed, and on his skin Otzi bore the map of his pain. Yes, because Otzi was found with 61 tattoos, and they were located exactly over his diseased joints. I'll tell you more about it later. That last day of spring, Otzi was fleeing, his body was tired, he was suffering from parasites, and he had an inflammation in his body that gave him no respite. But he knew how to heal himself, so before climbing up, he put his medicine in his pocket. Otzi, leather pouch, birch fungus to cleanse his stomach. But at 3,200 meters high, his fate caught up with him, and an arrow in his back stopped him in his tracks. Otzi fell onto the snow, clutching his tools and his remedies. The cold wrapped him in a shroud of ice that kept him intact, as if time had frozen just for him and to bring this information to us today. And today we are going to wake up Otzi. What can a man from 5,000 years ago teach us about our modern health? The research on Otzi is a survival manual for our body. Here are the 3 pillars that this warrior shares with us. First, the end of silent inflammation. Otzi suffered from parasites and arterial problems, but his body wasn't overwhelmed by chemicals. He teaches us about seasonal deworming. Is it yours? Do you appreciate data more? The terrain, the body knows how to repair itself, precision medicine. His 61 tattoos on acupuncture points tell us that humanity knew millennia ago that the body is an electrical system. By stimulating specific points, Otzi not only soothed his arthritis, but also sent signals to his nervous system to reduce his cortisol, metabolic resilience. Otzi lived in a state of hormesis, which is basically positive stress. The cold and constant movement kept him in a state of biological alertness, which we have dulled with a sedentary lifestyle. His metabolism was much more efficient at burning fat and producing cellular energy. He carried 2 specific mushrooms tied with a leather strap to his belt. One was the cryptoporous birch fungus. Betulinus, which contains polyphenolic acid, acts as a powerful laxative and antibiotic. And Otzi used it to cleanse his intestines of parasites, and that's proof that strategic deworming was already being done 5,000 years ago. The tinder fungus Fomes fomentarius, besides being used to start fires, has hemostatic properties. What does this mean? That it stops bleeding? Covering a wound with its fibers is like using a sterile gauze with antibiotics. As I told you, Otzi had 61 tattoos. They were small lines located exactly on his joints, knees, ankles, and lumbar spine. The x-rays they took confirmed that he suffered from severe arthritis, and it was in those exact spots where the tattoos were located. And Otzi lived 2,000 years before the Chinese medical treatises were written, and what was being done was a kind of acupuncture. This shows us that healing through pressure and energy is universal knowledge engraved in our instincts. Learning about Otzi made me realize we're not so different. He carried his medicine with him, trusted the earth, and listened to his body, his pain, the messages his body sent him. At Soyahora, we always say that healing isn't something you buy, but something you activate. By using plants or taking care of our nutrition, our diet, we activate the same biological intelligence that kept this warrior alive. Health isn't the absence of problems, it's having the physical and mental tools to face them. As a curious fact, natural freeze-drying allowed even his red blood cells to be preserved, making them the oldest blood cells ever found. My name is Danai Aguila, and if you would like to deepen your mind-body-spirit connection, I invite you to my other channel, Portal Coherencia. I'll leave you a little card here so you can go check it out. That's it. I'd also like to invite you to check out one of my latest videos about the ancestral wisdom of humanity. And there we talk about how to live without humanity, without getting sick. The method of the Hunza tribe. In that video, I share with you the method of this Hunza tribe so that we can apply it to our own lives. The Hunza are a Himalayan tribe known to live over 100 years. I'll leave the direct link here so you can go watch it. And if this video inspired you, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, tell me what you thought, and share the video. I'll be reading your comments. A big hug and see you next time. Bye.